never goes smooth. How come it never goes smooth?
Hi, my name is Mike and welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that this week is dealing with an ulcerated tongue, so apologies if I sound like a drooping Janet Street porter at times. Cool, calm, collected, confident. That's just 4 words you could absolutely not use to describe the 2-1 win over Brentford at the weekend. A nervy performance at Turf Moor, which is the epitome of don't ask how, just ask how many. We ended up winning 2-1 against a 10-man Brentford side, reduced to 10 men after, well, they said 10 minutes, but that's because how long it took to do the VAR decision. An interesting game from start to finish. It was a nerve shredder. It was a point where you could never be actually confident that even at 2-0 up, the Clarets weren't going to find a way to throw it away, because that's the way they are at the moment. The confidence is not like rock bottom, it's subterranean. They played incredibly nervously. The crowd were nervous, the crowd was supportive, the crowd were behind the team, but they were nervous. The team were definitely nervous on the pitch. It's not easy playing against 10 men at the best of times. You know, you expect to win, but when you're a team that has no confidence whatsoever and you're faced with that situation, you are always worried about giving away a stupid goal, a stupid equaliser, which we almost did. I guess the main talking point was before the game when we saw the lineups announced and Aro Muric in place of James Trafford. I know we've all been calling for it for a while. We've all been wanting it for a while. Although there's this weird conspiracy theory that now that 75% of the season has gone, James Trafford has some kind of contractual clause that requires him to play for 75% of the games. Yeah, right. Tinfoil hats, lads. Think about it. If he has to play 75% of the games, why do they all have to be at the start of the season? Anyway, I thought Muric himself was excellent. I know people are going a little bit over the top with the win and it was all down to him and blah, 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 blah. He played well. I thought that he was playing it a little bit safer than he normally would, not taking the risks that he normally does, which means he'll only take 2 risks a game. He's not going to try and Cruyff turn an attacker this time, like he normally does. But I thought he kind of played it a little bit safe. I don't blame him for doing so. The team looked better. The team looked structurally much better. The outball to Cullen was starting to work again in a way that he never looked confident working with Trafford. Okay, at the back, a little bit shaky. No thanks to Aro Muric doing the most incredible no-look back pass. I cannot believe that happened, but it kind of summed up a madcap first half, to be honest. We had that. We had Fofana missing from 6 inches. We had Fofana lurking behind the goalie and almost scoring, but then falling over. Like I say, we had the VAR decision, which was just a crazy VAR decision. Well, a crazy foul. An absolutely stupid foul in the first place. But then we had the situation where there was such a long VAR delay. And where I sit in the James Hargreaves upper, I'm directly opposite the monitor, and I was genuinely thinking, as the wait dragged on and on and on, I was genuinely thinking that the technology was not working, that we were going to be the first club to have an obvious penalty not given because VAR wasn't working. Now, if you want to go down the conspiracy theory line, they were saying that no, they were checking for offside beforehand. Well, I'll tell you now, it didn't say that on the screen. It didn't say on the big screen. It didn't say on the pitch side screen. And there was a techie hanging around that monitor for the rest of the game. But eventually, the right decision came to it. Yeah, just the cricket field stand singing, Premier League corrupt as F. Really, just because the decision didn't go our way immediately, I suppose you should be now chanting Premier League get it right when VAR works as it's supposed to. That's the thing about conspiracy theories and having a chip on your shoulder. It's very, very easy to do it when things go wrong, but occasionally, that means you have to deliberately ignore it when things happen correctly. And that happened correctly. Brun Larsen put it into the corner just beyond Fleck, and again, that could have gone so horribly wrong. And then it was just basically a case of trying to break down a fairly snide and petulant Brentford side. Now, I wasn't really kind of expecting that out of Brentford, who've had a good reputation for playing free-flowing football. I know they've got a lot of injuries and so on and so forth, but I wasn't expecting them to be snide and petulant. But then Neil Maupay plays for them. Oh, that's why. One of the... he's not even a shithouse, really. He's just a little twat. That's probably the best way to put it. He's just that one who starts fights and runs away from them. But anyway, he was on the bench. He was in the middle of that little bench flare-up that happened in the second half. And, of course, even Tony up front for Brentford, the amount of whinging he was doing to the official, the petulance, the falling over and grabbing the ball for a foul, when he fall onto it, grab the ball to stop play, aka doing a Grealish, basically expecting to barge people out of the way and then being surprised when he gets called for it. You can tell he's been called up for England, can't you? But yeah, it came down to a couple of refereeing decisions. I thought the referee was very, very picky. He wasn't allowing any contact at all, whether it was Burnley or Brentford, Brentford or Burnley. So it wasn't really a surprise that, if you try to barge people over, then he's not actually going to let that go. Upon replay, the disallowed equaliser right at the end, of course it was a disallowed equaliser. It was always going to be that. Tony had no interest in getting the ball. He was only going to ever take out Muric. Could Muric have got to it beforehand? I don't know, but at least we never have to find out. But then Thomas Frank afterwards, talking about the penalty for Fana on Zanka, I think it was. Should it have been a penalty? Yeah, absolutely it should be a penalty. It's never going to be a penalty, though. When have you ever seen that given? Ever. There is this kind of weird unwritten code. There's the same thing in ice hockey. I mention ice hockey a lot. There's an unwritten code in ice hockey where there's basically a bunch of rules that are accepted, but they're not written down anywhere. That players act a certain way, referees referee it a certain way. And that's been accepted, and football is the same. That is never going to be a penalty, because if it was, then he's basically giving a penalty every single time. That defender who was bundled over by Fofana for a penalty, or what should have been a penalty, if we have a corner, he will be bundling Fofana over and then complaining when the penalty is given. That's the football code. It's unwritten, it's nebulous, it requires context, and it's completely stupid, and I wish they'd do something about it. But there you go. So, yeah, Thomas Frank justified in complaining that it was a penalty, but knowing it was never, ever going to be one. So, Clarence, 3 points. And with the news of Forest's point deduction, 4 points given down by the Premier League, then that actually gives us a fighting chance. Not one I'm particularly confident of, not one I think we particularly deserve, but it does give us a fighting chance. Now, I say it's a 4 point deduction. Forest are appealing, therefore it will be knocked down to 2. Take that one to the bank. It's not going to be 4. The appeal, they'll find a reason to reduce it, because that's what the Premier League will do. Not because Forest are right to do so, or because they made a mistake, but because the Premier League do not wish to be seen to to relegate teams by points deductions for off-field activities. Does it give us a chance? Yes, it does. 4 points theoretically from safety, I think, with a fairly decent few games of a run-in. Yes, we have to play Chelsea and Man United away. We probably will lose them, but who knows what Chelsea will turn up? Who knows what Man United's going to turn up? We got Brighton at home. Who knows what Brighton are going to turn up? We got Wolves at home. Wolves are suffering from injury. They didn't look all that good when we played them just before Christmas and lost. So there is a chance, and it would be hilarious and it would be wonderful if we stayed up. But maybe this is the Saturday performance kind of speaking at the moment, but for some reason I have the slightest, smallest, tiniest glimmer of hope, and it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? It's the hope that you're kind of thinking, maybe. And on Saturday's game, would we have won that game with 11 men on the pitch for Brentford? No. Were we lucky to come away with 3 points against 10 men? Probably. But I don't care, because as I say, they ask how many, they never ask how. And to be honest, that's the first stroke of luck we've kind of had this season. It's the first one where we've got away with one. It's the first time all season we picked up points in consecutive games. So yeah, can we do it? Maybe, just maybe. This vlog's going to take a break for a short while. I'm away on a couple of things away, so I'll be watching games from afar. We will be back early in May. In the meantime, support the Clarets as much as you can when in the ground. Hopefully Muric is now back in the lineup on a regular basis. Hopefully luck has turned. Hopefully it might happen. Miracles might happen. It's the hope that kills you, as I say, but they couldn't. Could they? If you've got any comments about this video, please feel free to leave them down below and I will respond where I can. If you liked it, click the like button. And if you like what I do, have a look around the rest of the channel and click subscribe to be notified when I produce new content.